If you think pennies are worthless, you need to stop right now and listen carefully. Because sitting in jars, old drawers, coffee cans, and even your pocket change, there are wheat pennies hiding that are worth serious money. I'm talking about hidden treasure. I'm talking about silent fortune. I'm talking about coins people are accidentally spending every single day, not realizing they just let go of life-changing opportunity. And here's the scary part. Most of them look completely ordinary. Dirty, brown, worn. Just another old penny. But some of these wheat cents are worth big bags of dollars, and collectors are hunting them down aggressively. This is not hype. This is not fiction. This is real quiet wealth hiding in plain sight. In today's video, we're counting down the top 10 most valuable wheat penny rare coins worth serious money, and I promise you, each coin gets rarer, more shocking, and more powerful as we move forward. The last coin on this list? Almost nobody believes it until they see the auction results. So do not spend these coins. Do not skip ahead. Watch till the very end, because the next penny you find could change everything. Let's start with coin number 10. The 1920 wheat penny with no mint mark is one of those coins people ignore every single day. And that is exactly why it's so dangerous. Because it looks ordinary. It looks old. It looks like just another brown penny sitting in a jar. But what if I told you that one of these, in fine condition, has reached $180,000? That's not pocket change. That's hidden wealth. That's silent fortune. And the scariest part? People are still accidentally spending this coin without even looking twice. Stay with me, because this detail changes everything. Now let's go back to 1920. America was coming out of World War I. The economy was unstable. Inflation was rising. Jobs were shifting. The country was adjusting to a new industrial age. The roaring 20s were about to explode, but in 1920, things were still uncertain. Factories were pushing hard. The demand for coinage was heavy. And during this time, the Philadelphia Mint, which does not use a mint mark, struck millions of Lincoln wheat cents under intense production pressure. No mint mark means it came from Philadelphia. And that tiny missing letter? That's the first clue. This coin carries the iconic design created by Victor David Brenner. On the front, you see Abraham Lincoln's profile, strong, detailed, historic. In God we trust, across the top. Liberty, to the side. The date 1920 stamped at the bottom. Simple. Powerful. On the back, two wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. That wheat design represents growth, prosperity, and the backbone of early American agriculture. It's classic. It's historic. It's one of the most recognized coin designs ever produced in the United States. But here's where it gets serious. The 1920 wheat penny was struck in a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. That rich copper blend gives it that deep brown tone collectors crave when it ages naturally. It weighs about 3.11 grams. Its diameter, about 19 millimeters. Thickness, roughly 1.5 millimeters. Small. Lightweight. Easy to ignore. Easy to lose. Easy to spend. And yet inside that tiny piece of copper? A potential life-changing opportunity. So why is this coin rare if millions were made? Because survival is the real story. In 1920, pennies were used hard. They circulated heavily. They bought bread, milk, train tickets. They weren't safe. They weren't protected. Most were worn down, damaged, cleaned, corroded, or melted over the decades. Finding one today in true fine condition, with strong detail in Lincoln's hair, clear wheat lines on the reverse, and original surfaces, is not common. It's extremely difficult. Fine condition means you can still see solid detail. Lincoln's jawline defined. The wheat stalk lines visible and not flat. The lettering sharp. No harsh cleaning. No deep scratches. No smoothing from over-polishing. And that original toning? That natural chocolate brown color? That's gold to collectors. Cleaned coins lose serious money. Let me say that again. Never clean this coin. Cleaning destroys value instantly. That original aged surface is everything. Now let's talk minting conditions. In 1920, dyes were used aggressively. Overused dyes can create subtle variations, weak strikes, dye cracks, small doubling in lettering. These tiny imperfections sometimes create unique collectible variations. And collectors look closely. They check the date alignment. They inspect the rims. They analyze spacing in the lettering. They look for strong wheat lines. They examine surfaces under magnification. This is not casual collecting. This is serious money territory. And here's what makes it powerful. The 1920 no mint mark wheat penny in fine condition has reached $180,000 in today's market under the right circumstances. That's hidden treasure. That's silent fortune sitting in a penny jar somewhere. Auction rooms go quiet when high-grade early wheat cents appear. Bidding gets intense. Collectors don't blink because they know survival rates are shrinking every year. Many are locked away in private collections, held tightly, not resold. Supply gets thinner. Demand keeps rising. Think about that. A coin smaller than a bottle cap, worth more than most people's annual salary, and people are still tossing them into tip jars. This is not fiction. Now here's what you need to check immediately. Look at the date, 1920. Look for no mint mark under the date. That means Philadelphia. Check the condition. Are Lincoln's features strong? Are the wheat stalks detailed? Is the surface original or does it look shiny and scrubbed? If it's glossy and unnatural, someone cleaned it. That's a mistake that destroys value. Original coins have soft, even toning. If you find one that looks promising, do not spend this coin. Do not clean it. Do not store it loosely where it scratches. Use a protective holder. And most importantly, consider professional grading. Third-party grading gives authentication, condition confirmation, and market confidence. Serious collectors only pay top dollar for properly graded coins. That's where the hidden wealth becomes real money. And patience? Patience is golden in this game. Some collectors wait years for the right example. Some refuse to sell once they own one. That's how strong the demand is for early wheat cents in quality condition, especially coins over 100 years old that survived heavy circulation. But listen carefully. As powerful as the 1920 wheat penny is, what comes next is even bigger. The next coin on our list was born during one of the most dramatic economic shifts in American history. And its rarity story is even more shocking. If you thought this was serious money, wait until you see what coin number 9 is hiding. Stay with me. It only gets more intense from here. The 1939 wheat penny with no mint mark is one of those coins that looks dull, gray, almost lifeless at first glance. And that is exactly why people are throwing it away, spending it, or letting it disappear in jars without a second thought. But listen to me very carefully. This quiet little penny in fine condition has reached $164,000. That is not small change. That is hidden treasure. That is silent fortune hiding under a gray layer most people mistake for damage. And if you miss this detail, you could be spending life-changing wealth without even knowing it. Now let's travel back to 1939. The United States was still crawling out of the Great Depression. Jobs were fragile. Money was tight. Families were counting every cent. Across the ocean, World War II was beginning, and global uncertainty was rising fast. Economically, America was rebuilding, but fear was still in the air. Coin production was steady, but pennies were used hard. They moved through hands constantly. They were never treated as collectibles. They were survival tools. The 1939 wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and when there's no mint mark under the date, that tells you it came from there. That missing mint mark is not a mistake. It's a clue. It's part of the story. And in certain preserved conditions, especially with that natural gray layer forming over decades, it becomes extremely desirable. On the front, you see Abraham Lincoln's profile, strong, historic, steady. In God we trust, across the top. Liberty to the left. The date 1939 stamped clearly at the bottom. No mint mark beneath it. That clean space under the date is what you're looking for. On the back, Those two wheat stalks curve inward, framing 1 cent and United States of America. That wheat design represents strength and growth during some of America's hardest years. It's simple. It's classic. It's powerful. This coin is made of 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams. Diameter is 19 millimeters. Thickness is about 1.5 millimeters. Small. Lightweight. Easy to ignore. Easy to toss aside. But that gray layer people complain about? That's decades of natural oxidation. That is original toning. And collectors love originality. Here's where things get serious. In 1939, minting pressure and heavy circulation meant most coins were worn down quickly. Kids carried them. Workers carried them. They bought food, newspapers, bus fares. Very few were set aside in clean condition. And over the years, many were cleaned aggressively by people trying to shine them up. That single mistake destroyed thousands of potential fortunes. Fine condition means the coin still shows solid detail. Lincoln's hair still visible. His cheek and jaw defined. The wheat lines on the reverse clear and not completely flattened. Lettering strong. Rim intact. And most importantly, no harsh cleaning marks. That natural gray tone must look even and smooth, not scratched or polished. Survival is rare because copper reacts easily with moisture, air, and improper storage. Many 1939 pennies corroded. Many darkened unevenly. Many were scrubbed with chemicals or cloths, leaving micro scratches that kill value instantly. Finding one with original gray patina, strong detail, and no damage is far more difficult than people realize. Collectors look at tiny details. They inspect the spacing and the date. They examine the surface texture under magnification. They check for die cracks, strike strength, and sharpness in the wheat stalk veins. Some 1939 coins show subtle die characteristics that make certain examples even more desirable. These small details change everything. And here's the part that makes this coin dangerous to ignore. A 1939 no-mint mark wheat penny in fine condition with strong eye appeal has reached $164,000 in today's market. That is serious money. That is hidden wealth sitting in what looks like a dull gray penny. Auction rooms don't get loud for common coins. They get intense for coins with survival rarity. Collectors compete aggressively for original examples. Many high-quality pieces are locked away in long-term collections. Owners don't want to sell. Supply tightens. Demand rises. And prices follow. This is not hype. This is real. Now listen carefully. If you find a 1939 wheat penny, flip it over. Check the wheat stalks. Turn it back. Look under the date. If there is no mint mark, that's Philadelphia. Study the surface. If it has a smooth, natural gray tone, do not assume it's worthless. Do not clean it. Never clean this coin. Cleaning strips away originality and can wipe out thousands of dollars in value instantly. Store it safely. Avoid touching the surface with bare fingers. And if the details look strong, consider professional grading. Grading confirms authenticity and condition, and serious buyers demand that security before paying serious money. Patience is everything in this game. Some collectors wait years to find the right original example. Some refuse to sell once they own one because they know the market is tightening. Early wheat cents from the pre-war era are gaining more attention every year. And here's the truth. As powerful as this 1939 gray layer penny is, what's coming next is even more shocking. The next coin on our list was created under even more dramatic circumstances, and its rarity story is far more explosive. If you thought $164,000 was serious money, you are not ready for what's ahead. Stay with me. Do not click away, because the next hidden treasure is even more dangerous to ignore. The 1958 wheat penny with no mint mark is one of the most dangerously overlooked coins in circulation history. Because when people see it, they don't see treasure. They see a penny with strange green and red spots. They think it's damaged. They think it's dirty. And they toss it aside or spend it without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of these in fine condition has reached $141,000? That's not loose change. That's silent fortune. That's serious money hiding under colors most people completely misunderstand. And if you miss this detail, you could be accidentally giving away life-changing wealth. Now let's go back to 1958. America was in the middle of the Cold War. The space race was heating up. The economy was growing, suburbs were expanding, and the country was stepping into a new technological era. But 1958 was also historic for another reason. It was the final year of the Lincoln Wheat Penny design. After 1958, the reverse changed to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. That means 1958 marked the end of a 50-year chapter in American coin history. And whenever a design ends, collectors pay attention. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and just like earlier Philadelphia issues, there is no mint mark under the date. That blank space beneath 1958 is exactly what you're looking for. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's profile faces right, calm and steady. "In God We Trust" stretches across the top. Liberty sits beside him. The date below, clean, classic, historic. On the back, those iconic wheat stalks curve inward around 1 cent and United States of America. That wheat reverse had represented American strength since 1909, and 1958 was its final goodbye. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs about 3.11 grams. Diameter is 19 millimeters. Thickness roughly 1.5 millimeters. Small, light, ordinary in appearance. But copper is reactive. It changes over time. And those green and red spots? That's where things get interesting. The red tones often come from original copper surfaces that haven't fully darkened. The green spots can be early oxidation, sometimes light verdigris forming naturally over decades. Most people panic when they see green. They assume corrosion. They think damage. But when those colors are natural, stable, and untouched, collectors see originality. They see authenticity. They see a coin that hasn't been stripped, polished, or ruined. And here's why survival is more complicated than people think. In 1958, millions of pennies were produced. But it was the end of the wheat design, and many were heavily circulated before anyone realized the design would change the following year. Few were preserved carefully in circulated fine condition with original surfaces. Many were cleaned. Many were stored improperly in humid conditions. Some developed aggressive corrosion. Others were polished until they lost all character. Finding one today with balanced green and red toning, strong detail, and no harsh cleaning is far rarer than people assume. Fine condition means Lincoln's hair still shows detail. His coat lines are visible. The lettering is strong. On the reverse, the wheat stalk veins are clear and not worn flat. The rim is intact. The surfaces show honest wear but not abuse. That balance between circulation and preservation is what collectors hunt for. And collectors inspect everything. They check the color transitions between red and brown. They examine the green areas to see if there's stable or active corrosion. They look for micro scratches that reveal cleaning attempts. They analyze the strike strength. They study the spacing of the date and lettering. Tiny differences can separate an ordinary coin from hidden wealth. Now here's the part that should make you pause. A 1958 no mint mark wheat penny in fine condition with natural red and green toning has reached $141,000 in today's market. That is serious money for something most people drop into vending machines. Auction rooms get very quiet when original end-of-series wheat cents appear. Collectors understand that 1958 was the final year. There is emotional weight attached to it. It represents the closing chapter of a historic American design. Many high-quality examples are already locked into private collections. Owners are holding them, not selling. Demand keeps increasing, especially for coins with unique natural coloration that hasn't been tampered with. This is not fiction. If you find a 1958 wheat penny, flip it over. Confirm the wheat reverse. Turn it back and check under the date. No mint mark means Philadelphia. Study the color carefully. If you see red mixed with brown, that's normal. If you see small green spots, don't panic. but never try to clean them off. Cleaning destroys the very originality collectors pay for. Even gentle rubbing can wipe out thousands of dollars instantly. Do not use chemicals. Do not polish. Do not scrape green spots. Store the coin in a dry, protective holder. Avoid humidity. And if the detail looks strong and the surfaces appear original, consider professional grading. Certification gives credibility. Serious buyers only pay top market money for authenticated, graded examples. Patience is everything. Some collectors search for years for a properly toned 1958 wheat cent with solid detail. They understand that natural color tells a story. Artificial shine tells a mistake. And listen closely. As powerful as this final year wheat penny is, what's coming next is even more explosive. The next coin on our list carries a backstory that shocks even experienced collectors. Its rarity isn't just about survival, it's about something that almost didn't happen at all. Stay with me, because the next hidden treasure is even more dangerous to ignore. The 1956 wheat penny with the D mint mark is one of those coins people see and instantly ignore. It doesn't look ancient. It doesn't look dramatic. It just looks like another old copper penny with a tiny little D under the date. And that tiny letter is exactly why this coin can be a hidden big treasure. Because while people are tossing it into jars, dropping it in tip cups, or spending it without thinking, collectors are hunting it. And one in fine condition has reached $162,000. That is serious money. That is silent fortune hiding in plain sight. And if you're not paying attention, you could be accidentally losing life-changing wealth. Let's rewind to 1956. America was deep in the Cold War. The economy was strong on the surface, but there was tension underneath. The interstate highway system was about to reshape the country. Suburbs were growing fast. Industry was booming. And the U.S. Mint was striking massive numbers of coins to keep up with commerce. In Denver, production lines were moving fast. Efficiency mattered more than perfection. And under that pressure, subtle variations and quality differences were created that collectors obsess over today. The 1956 wheat penny still carried the legendary design by Victor David Brenner. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's profile faces right, calm and steady. In God we trust, above his head. Liberty to the side. The date 1956 below. And right under that date, a small but powerful letter D. That tells you it was minted at the Denver Mint. That tiny D is not decoration. It's identity. It's history. It's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Flip it over and you see the classic wheat reverse. Two wheat stalks curving inward around 1 cent and the United States of America. This design had represented American strength since 1909. By 1956, it was nearing the end of its run. Just a few years later, it would be replaced. That means coins from this late wheat era carry special collector interest, especially when they survive in strong condition. The composition? 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc. That rich copper blend gives it that deep reddish-brown tone collectors love when it ages naturally. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams. Diameter is 19 millimeters. Thickness about 1.5 millimeters. Small. Light. Easy to overlook. Easy to spend. Easy to lose forever. Now here's where things get intense. Yes, millions were minted in Denver in 1956. But survival in fine, original condition is a completely different story. These coins circulated heavily. They were used daily. They paid for groceries, bus rides, newspapers. They were handled roughly, tossed into drawers, mixed with moisture, cleaned by well-meaning owners who thought shine meant value. And every time someone cleaned one, they erased history and destroyed potential wealth. Fine condition means this coin still holds detail. Lincoln's hair strands are visible. His cheek and jawline are defined. The lettering is strong and clear. On the reverse, the wheat stock veins are not worn flat. The rim is complete. The surfaces show honest circulation but not abuse. That balance is rare. And collectors look deeper. They examine the D mint mark closely. Is it sharp? Is it properly aligned? Are there die cracks nearby? Was the strike strong or slightly weak in certain areas? Denver minted coins from this era sometimes show strike inconsistencies due to high production speed. Those tiny details matter. They separate common from collectible. Here's the reality. A 1,950 wheat penny in fine condition with strong detail and original surfaces has reached $162,000 in today's market under the right circumstances. That's hidden wealth sitting in a coin most people think is worth 1 cent. Auction rooms don't get excited over shiny, over clean pennies. They get intense over original, problem-free examples. Bidding climbs quickly when a well-preserved late-date wheat cent with strong eye appeal appears. Collectors know many have been lost to damage, corrosion, or cleaning. And the ones that survived untouched? They're disappearing into long-term collections. Owners are holding them, not selling. Demand keeps climbing. This is not fiction. If you find a 1956 penny, the first thing you do is check under the date. Look for that D. Confirm it's there. Then study the condition. Are Lincoln's features strong? Are the wheat lines clear? Does the surface look natural, or does it look unnaturally bright and polished? If it's shiny like a mirror, someone cleaned it. It destroys value instantly. Never clean this coin. Never scrape it. Never try to improve its appearance. Original toning is everything. Handle it carefully. Store it in a protective holder. Keep it dry. And if it looks promising, consider professional grading. Authentication and condition verification are critical when serious money is involved. High-end collectors only pay top market prices for certified examples. And remember this, patience is golden. Some collectors wait years to find a strong 1,950 in fine or better condition with original surfaces. When they get one, they often don't let it go. That's why supply tightens while demand rises. But as powerful as the 1,950 wheat penny is, what comes next is even more shocking. The next coin on our list carries a rarity story that stunned collectors when it first surfaced. Its value isn't just about condition, it's about something far more unexpected. Stay with me, because the next hidden treasure is even more dangerous to ignore. The 1955 wheat penny with the D mint mark and that deep brown layer is one of the most dangerously underestimated coins people are still spending right now. I'm serious. People see a dark brown penny, a little worn, nothing shiny, nothing flashy, and they throw it into circulation without a second thought. But what if that quiet brown coin sitting in your pocket is actually hiding $178,000 worth of serious money? That's not exaggeration. That's hidden treasure. That's silent fortune disguised as an ordinary cent. And if you don't understand what makes this coin special, you could be accidentally losing life-changing wealth. Let's go back to 1955. America was booming on the surface. Post-war confidence was high. Cars were rolling off assembly lines. Families were moving into new suburban homes. But underneath that prosperity, the Cold War tension was building. The economy was expanding fast, and coin production had to keep up with the growing population and spending habits. The Denver Mint was working hard to strike millions of pennies to meet demand. And when mints operate at high speed, small but powerful differences can happen. The design was still the iconic Lincoln wheat cent created by Victor David Brenner. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's profile faces right. "In God we trust" above his head. "Liberty" to the side. The date 1955 below. And just under that date, a small D mint mark. That tiny letter tells you this coin was struck in Denver. It may look insignificant, but to collectors, that little D can mean the difference between 1 cent and hidden wealth. Turn the coin over and you see the classic wheat reverse. 2 bold wheat stalks framing 1 cent and United States of America. This design had been representing American strength since 1909. By 1955, it was nearing the end of its historic run. That late-era wheat penny status adds emotional and collector weight to this coin. The composition is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. That copper-rich blend is what gives the coin its color. Over decades, copper tones naturally from bright red to deep brown. That brown layer people ignore? That's age. That's originality. That's history locked into the surface. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams. Diameter is 19 millimeters. Thickness around 1.5 millimeters. Small, light, easy to overlook, easy to lose forever. Now here's where it gets intense. Yes, 1955 pennies were produced in large numbers. But survival in fine condition with original brown toning is a completely different story. These coins circulated heavily. They were used daily in vending machines, stores, gas stations. They were tossed into drawers and coffee cans. Many were cleaned by people trying to make them shine. And that single mistake destroyed countless valuable pieces. Fine condition means you can still see detail in Lincoln's hair. His jawline is clear. The lettering is strong and not fading away. On the reverse, the wheat stock lines are visible and not completely worn flat. The rim is intact. The surfaces show honest wear, but not damage. That balance between age and preservation is rare. Collectors look very closely at 1955 pennies because that year is already famous for rare variations. That means demand for strong examples from that year is always high. Even without dramatic errors, high-quality original pieces attract serious attention. Experts examine the D-mint mark placement. They check strike strength. They look for die cracks or subtle characteristics. They inspect the brown layer carefully to confirm its natural toning and not artificial treatment. And here's the part that should make you pause. A 1955 wheat penny in fine condition with original brown surfaces has reached $178,000 in today's market. That's silent fortune hiding under a dark surface most people think looks old and worthless. Auction behavior tells the real story. When a strong, original 1955 appears, bidding gets aggressive. Collectors know many have been ruined by cleaning or corrosion. The number of truly original survivors keeps shrinking. Many high-end examples are already locked away in private collections. Owners are holding them tight. Supply tightens. Demand grows stronger. Prices follow. This is not fiction. If you find a 1955 penny, immediately look under the date. If you see a D-mint mark, slow down. Do not assume it's common. Study the color. A natural brown layer should look even and smooth, not glossy or scratched. If it looks overly shiny, someone probably cleaned it. And cleaning instantly destroys collector value. Never clean this coin. Never polish it. Never try to scrape off discolorations. That brown tone is part of its identity. Store it carefully in a dry, protective holder. Avoid humidity. Avoid touching the surfaces with bare fingers. And if the detail looks strong and the coin appears original, consider professional grading. Serious buyers only pay serious money for authenticated, graded coins. Certification brings confidence, and confidence brings high bids. Patience is powerful in this world. Some collectors search for years for a properly toned 1955 in fine or better condition. When they finally secure one, they often refuse to sell. That's how strong demand is for quality pieces from this year. But listen carefully. As impressive as the 1955 brown layer penny is, what comes next is even more explosive. The next coin on our list carries a story that shocked the collecting world and created one of the most talked about moments in wheat penny history. Stay with me, because the next hidden treasure is even more dangerous to ignore. The 1951 wheat penny with no mint mark is one of the most quietly dangerous coins you could possibly overlook. Because nothing about it screams rare. Nothing about it looks dramatic. It just looks like an old brown penny from the early 1950s. And that is exactly why people are still spending it every single day. They don't see hidden treasure. They don't see silent fortune. They see 1 cent. But in fine condition, this coin has reached $132,000. It is serious money hiding in plain sight. And if you're not paying attention, you could be accidentally giving away life-changing wealth. Let's rewind to 1951. America was deep in the Korean War. Military spending was rising. The Cold War tension with the Soviet Union was intense. Industry was booming again to support defense production. The economy was strong but focused on global conflict. Coin production had to keep up with growing commerce at home. The Philadelphia Mint was striking millions of pennies to meet demand. And remember, Philadelphia coins from this era do not carry a mint mark. So when you see 1951 with nothing under the date, that blank space tells you it came from Philadelphia. The design was still the iconic Lincoln wheat cent created decades earlier. On the front, Abraham Lincoln faces right. "In God we trust," above him. "Liberty," to the left. The date 1951 below. No mint mark under the date. That clean space is your signal. Flip it over and you see the familiar wheat stocks framing 1 cent and United States of America. Strong. Simple. Classic. This design represented American resilience through wars, depressions, and economic shifts. The coin is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. That copper-rich blend gives it that warm brown tone as it ages. It weighs about 3.11 grams. Diameter is 19 millimeters. Thickness around 1.5 millimeters. Small enough to ignore. Light enough to lose. Ordinary enough to spend without thinking. But here's where the real story begins. In 1951, pennies were not collectibles. They were tools of daily life. They moved through countless hands. They were stored in pockets with keys. They were tossed into drawers. They were exposed to moisture, dirt, and friction. Most were worn down heavily. Many were cleaned aggressively by people who thought shine meant value. Every time someone polished a coin, they erased originality. And originality is everything in this market. Fine condition means this coin still carries visible detail. Lincoln's hairlines are still there. His cheek and jaw are defined. The lettering is clear and not fading into the surface. On the reverse, the wheat stock veins are visible and not completely flattened. The rim is intact. The surfaces show honest circulation but not abuse. That balance is not common after more than 7 decades. Collectors look very closely at surface quality. They examine the texture of the copper. They check for natural toning. They look for small die cracks or subtle strike characteristics from the Philadelphia Mint. They inspect the spacing of the numbers in the date. Tiny details matter. This is not casual collecting. This is serious money territory. And here's the part that should stop you cold. A 1951 no-mint mark wheat penny in fine condition has reached $132,000 in today's market under the right circumstances. That is hidden wealth in a coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up. Auction rooms don't get emotional over common coins. They get intense over well-preserved survivors. When a strong, original 1951 Philadelphia example appears, bidders compete hard. Many quality pieces are already locked away in private collections. Owners are holding them tightly. Supply shrinks. Demand grows. Prices climb quietly in the background. This is not fiction. If you find a 1951 wheat penny, look under the date immediately. If there is no mint mark, that means Philadelphia. Then study the condition carefully. Are Lincoln's features strong? Are the wheat lines clear? Does the surface look natural, or does it look shiny and scrubbed? If it's unnaturally bright, someone likely cleaned it. Cleaning instantly destroys collector value. Never clean this coin. Never polish it. Never try to improve its color. Original toning is what collectors pay for. Store it safely in a dry holder. Avoid moisture. Avoid fingerprints on the surface. And if it appears to have strong detail and original surfaces, consider professional grading. Authentication and certified condition are critical when hidden wealth becomes serious money. High-end buyers want security before they bid aggressively. Patience is powerful in this world. Some collectors search for years for properly preserved early 1950s wheat cents with clean surfaces. When they find one, they often keep it. That's why examples become harder to find over time. But don't relax yet. Because as surprising as the 1951 no-mint mark penny is, what's coming next is even more shocking. The next coin on our list carries a rarity factor that most people never expect from a simple wheat cent. Stay with me. because the next hidden treasure is even more dangerous to ignore. The 1943 wheat penny with the D mint mark is one of the most misunderstood coins in American history. And that misunderstanding is exactly why people are still losing serious money. Because when most people think of 1943 pennies, they picture the common steel cents. Gray, magnetic, wartime emergency coins. And they assume every 1943 penny is the same. But listen carefully. Because a 1943D wheat penny in fine condition under the right circumstances has reached $133,000. That's hidden treasure hiding in the middle of World War II history. That's silent fortune wrapped inside one of the most dramatic years America ever faced. And if you don't understand what makes this coin powerful, you could be spending life-changing wealth without even knowing it. Let's go back to 1943. The United States was fully engaged in World War II. Copper was desperately needed for ammunition, wiring, and military equipment. The government made a historic decision. Pennies would no longer be struck in their traditional copper alloy. Instead, they were made from zinc-coated steel to conserve copper for the war effort. That's why 1943 pennies are famous. They look silver. They stick to magnets. They were an emergency wartime solution. The 1943D wheat penny was struck at the Denver Mint, and you'll see a small D Mint mark under the date on the front. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln faces right, strong and determined. In God we trust above him. Liberty to the side. The date 1943 below, with that tiny but powerful D underneath. Flip it over and you see the classic wheat stocks framing 1 cent and United States of America. Even during wartime crisis, the design remained steady, a symbol of stability in chaos. Now here's where the composition changes everything. Unlike the typical 95% copper wheat cents of other years, most 1943 pennies were struck from steel coated in zinc. They weigh approximately 2.7 grams instead of the usual 3.11 grams. The diameter remains 19 millimeters. Thickness about 1.5 millimeters. Same size, same shape, but completely different metal story. Steel was never meant to last forever. These coins rusted easily if the zinc coating wore off. They stained. They corroded. They were scratched. They were damaged quickly in circulation. Finding one today in fine condition with strong detail and minimal corrosion is far more difficult than people realize. Most surviving examples show heavy wear or rust spots. Fine condition means Lincoln's facial features are still sharp. The lettering remains bold. The wheat stalk lines on the reverse are visible and not worn flat. The zinc coating is largely intact. No deep rust pitting. No harsh cleaning. And here's the critical warning. Many people tried to polish steel cents to make them shiny again. That destroys value immediately. Original surfaces matter more than brightness. Collectors look closely at the D Mint mark placement. They examine the strike strength. They check for die cracks and subtle minting characteristics unique to Denver production. During wartime, mints were under pressure to produce fast. That pressure sometimes created minor irregularities that collectors obsess over today. And here's the emotional part of this story. This coin was born during global conflict. It represents sacrifice. It represents adaptation. It represents a nation changing its coinage metal to support troops overseas. That historical weight adds collector demand beyond just rarity. Now let's talk serious money. The 1943D wheat penny in fine condition with strong detail and original surfaces has reached $133,000 in today's market under the right circumstances. That is silent fortune tied directly to wartime America. And people still toss these into change piles because they think all 1943 pennies are common. Auction behavior tells the truth. When a high-quality 1943D example appears without heavy corrosion, bidding becomes competitive. Many collectors want strong wartime pieces. And since steel cents were fragile, truly nice survivors are disappearing into long-term collections. Owners hold them. They don't flip them casually. Supply tightens while demand stays strong. This is not fiction. If you find a 1943 penny, grab a magnet. Most steel cents will stick, and that's normal for this year. Check under the date for the D-mint mark. Study the surface carefully. Look for rust, deep scratches, or signs of polishing. If it looks unnaturally shiny or buffed, someone likely cleaned it. Never clean this coin. Cleaning steel cents can strip protective layers and crush value instantly. Store it in a dry environment. Moisture is the enemy of steel. Use protective holders. And if you believe you have a strong example in fine or better condition, consider professional grading. Certification confirms authenticity and condition, which is critical when serious money is involved. Patience is everything here. Some collectors specialize in wartime coinage. They wait years for properly preserved 1943D examples with strong eye appeal. When they secure one, they often keep it locked away. But don't relax yet, because as historic and powerful as the 1943D wartime penny is, the next coin on our list breaks expectations even further. Its rarity story shocks even experienced collectors, and its value climbs into territory most people never imagine for a 1-cent coin. Stay with me, because the next hidden treasure is even more dangerous to ignore. The 1934 wheat penny with no mint mark and those strange block spots on the surface is one of the most dangerously ignored coins hiding in plain sight. Because when people see spots, they assume damage. They assume it's ruined. They assume it's worthless. And they spend it without hesitation. But what if those block spots are the exact reason this coin can explode in value? What if that spotted, old-looking penny sitting in a jar is actually hiding $191,000 in serious money? That's not hype. That's hidden treasure. That's silent fortune disguised as something most people would never look at twice. And if you don't understand this coin, you could be accidentally losing life-changing wealth. Let's go back to 1934. America was deep in the Great Depression. Banks had collapsed just years earlier. Families were struggling. President Roosevelt's New Deal programs were reshaping the economy. Confidence was fragile. Every cent mattered. Pennies weren't collected, they were survival tools. They were used hard, passed hand to hand, stored in cloth pockets, metal tins, and wooden drawers. Preservation was not a priority. Survival was. The 1934 wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and that means there is no mint mark under the date. That blank space beneath 1934 is your first signal. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's profile faces right, steady and calm during one of America's toughest decades. In God we trust above, liberty to the left. The date below, clean, historic, powerful. On the back, the two wheat stalks frame 1 cent and United States of America. That wheat design symbolized growth and resilience during economic hardship. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. That copper-rich blend gives it warmth when preserved properly. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams. The diameter is 19 millimeters. Thickness about 1.5 millimeters. Small enough to ignore. Common-looking enough to spend without a thought. But here's where it gets serious. Those block spots people complain about? In many cases, they are natural toning patterns or minor planchet imperfections from the minting process. During the 1930s, planchet preparation wasn't always perfect. The Great Depression affected production budgets. Metal quality control sometimes varied. That means some coins developed uneven toning areas over decades, dark block-like patches that look strange but are completely original. Collectors understand the difference between natural toning and damage. And originality is everything. A 1934 no-mint mark wheat penny in fine condition with strong detail and stable, natural block toning can command serious attention. Why? Because most coins from this year were either worn down heavily, corroded, cleaned aggressively, or lost entirely. Fine condition means Lincoln's hair detail is still visible. His cheek and jawline show shape. The lettering remains strong and readable. On the reverse, the wheat stalk veins are still present and not completely flattened. The rim is intact. The block spots should look stable and integrated into the surface, not active corrosion or flaking damage. Survival is the true rarity here. Copper reacts easily to humidity and poor storage. Many 1934 pennies developed corrosion. Others were polished by owners who thought shine meant value. Every time someone cleaned one, they erased the very originality collectors demand. Cleaned coins lose serious money instantly. Collectors examine everything. They inspect the spacing and the date. They analyze strike strength. They look for die cracks or small minting characteristics unique to Philadelphia production. They study the toning pattern under magnification. Is it natural? Is it stable? Is it untouched? These small details separate a common coin from hidden wealth. Now here's the part that should make you pause. A 1934 wheat penny with no mint mark in fine condition, with strong detail and natural block toning, has reached $191,000 in today's market under the right circumstances. That's serious money for a coin most people would drop into a vending machine without blinking. Auction rooms get quiet when strong Depression-era wheat cents appear. Collectors know that properly preserved examples are getting harder to find every year. Many are already locked into long-term collections. Owners are holding them tightly. Supply shrinks. Demand grows. Prices climb quietly but steadily. This is not fiction. If you find a 1934 wheat penny, look under the date first. No mint mark means Philadelphia. Then study the condition. Are Lincoln's features strong? Are the wheat lines clear? Do the block spots look natural and stable, or do they look like active corrosion? If you're unsure, do not try to fix it. Never clean this coin. Never scrape spots. Never polish the surface. Cleaning destroys collector value instantly. Store it in a dry, protective holder. Keep moisture away. Avoid fingerprints on the surface. And if the detail looks strong and the surfaces appear original, consider professional grading. Certification confirms authenticity and condition, which is critical when hidden treasure becomes serious money. Patience matters. Some collectors specialize in Depression-era coins because of the historical weight behind them. They know survival rates are low. When they find a strong 1934 example, they don't let it go easily. And listen carefully. As powerful as this 1934 block spot wheat penny is, what comes next is even more shocking. The next coin on our list carries a story that makes even experienced collectors nervous, because its rarity factor goes beyond simple condition. Stay with me, because the next hidden treasure is even more dangerous to ignore. The 1947 wheat penny with the S mint mark is one of those coins that looks completely harmless, completely ordinary, and completely easy to ignore. It's just a brown penny from the 1940s with a tiny little S under the date. That's it. Nothing flashy. Nothing dramatic. And that is exactly why people are accidentally spending a coin that has reached $238,000 in fine condition. Let that sink in. Nearly $250,000. Hiding inside a 1-cent coin people still drop into tip jars. That's not hype. That's hidden treasure. That's silent fortune. And if you don't understand this coin, you could be losing life-changing wealth without even realizing it. Let's rewind to 1947. World War II had just ended 2 years earlier. America was shifting from wartime production to peacetime growth. Soldiers were returning home. Factories were converting. The economy was adjusting again. There was optimism, but also instability during the transition. The San Francisco Mint was striking coins to support commerce on the West Coast. And under that pressure of post-war recovery, subtle minting differences were created that collectors pay very close attention to today. On the front of the 1947 wheat penny, you see Abraham Lincoln's profile facing right. "In God We Trust" across the top. "Liberty" to the side. The date 1947 below. And right under that date, a small but powerful S mint mark. That tiny letter means it was struck in San Francisco. And San Francisco coins from the 1940s have a special place in collector demand. Flip it over and you see the classic wheat reverse. 2 wheat stalks curving inward around 1 cent and United States of America. That design had carried America through 2 world wars and the Great Depression. By 1947, It symbolized resilience and recovery. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, returning fully to copper after the 1943 steel experiment. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams. Diameter is 19 millimeters. Thickness about 1.5 millimeters. Same size as any other wheat cent. Small enough to disappear in your pocket. Ordinary enough to overlook. But here's where the real story begins. San Francisco mintages in certain years were lower than Philadelphia. And survival in strong fine condition with original surfaces is much rarer than people think. West Coast circulation was heavy. Coastal humidity affected copper surfaces. Many 1947s pennies developed corrosion or uneven toning. Others were cleaned by owners trying to brighten them. That single mistake destroyed countless valuable examples. Fine condition means Lincoln's hair detail is still present. His cheek and jawline are defined. The lettering is bold and readable. On the reverse, the wheat stock veins are visible and not worn flat. The rim is intact. The surfaces show honest wear but no harsh damage. And most importantly, original toning. Not polished. Not scrubbed. Not altered. Collectors examine the S-mint mark closely. Is it well formed? Is it correctly positioned? Are there die cracks nearby? Was the strike strong or slightly weak in certain areas? San Francisco strikes from the 1940s sometimes show specific characteristics that specialists hunt for. Tiny details can separate a common piece from hidden wealth. Now here's the part that should make your heart race. A 1947s wheat penny in fine condition with strong detail and original surfaces has reached $238,000 in today's market under the right circumstances. That is serious money hiding in a coin most people think is worth 1 cent. Auction behavior proves it. When a strong 1947s appears with clean surfaces and solid eye appeal, bidding becomes intense. Collectors know properly preserved San Francisco examples are getting harder to find. Many are already sitting in private collections. Owners are holding them, not selling. Supply tightens. Demand keeps climbing. This is not fiction. If you find a 1947 penny, immediately look under the date. If you see that S-mint mark, slow down. Do not assume it's common. Study the condition carefully. Are Lincoln's features sharp? Are the wheat lines clear? Does the surface look natural? Or does it look unnaturally shiny? If it's glossy like it was polished, someone likely cleaned it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Never clean this coin. Never try to improve its color. Original toning is what collectors pay for. Store it in a protective holder. Keep it dry. Avoid touching the surface directly. And if the detail looks strong, consider professional grading. Authentication and certified condition are critical when hidden wealth reaches serious money levels. High-end collectors demand confidence before bidding aggressively. Patience matters. Some collectors specialize in post-war San Francisco wheat cents because survival rates are lower than people assume. When they find a strong 1947s in fine or better condition, they often lock it away for years. And now we're almost at the final coin. If you think $238,000 is shocking, you are not ready for what coin number 10 is hiding. The last coin on this list carries a story that stunned the market and pushed wheat penny collecting into another level entirely. Do not look away now, because the final hidden treasure is the most dangerous one of all. The 1943 wheat penny with no mint mark is the silent killer of this list. The coin people see and think is worthless. The coin people spend every single day without realizing they are tossing away a fortune. At first glance, it looks dirty, darkened, worn, like an old piece of metal that belongs in the trash or a jar of loose change. But listen closely, this ordinary-looking, dirty 1943 penny is hiding $135,000 in serious money. That's right, $135,000. That is hidden treasure, silent fortune, life-changing wealth hiding in plain sight. And most people are giving it away every time they use it. Let's travel back to 1943. The United States was deep in World War II. Copper was desperately needed for military equipment, ammunition, wiring, you name it. To conserve copper, the Philadelphia Mint switched to steel cents coated in zinc. That's why 1943 pennies are silver gray and magnetic. And that's why the few original copper wheat pennies from 1943 are so rare. The coin you're looking at, a copper survivor in a year dominated by steel. That makes it a dangerous hidden treasure. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's profile faces right. "In God We Trust" stretches above his head. Liberty to the side. The date 1943 sits below, with no mint mark for Philadelphia. On the back, the iconic wheat stalks curve inward around 1 cent and United States of America. Classic. Historic. Powerful. But over decades of being lost, circulated, and tossed into jars, it has developed a dirty, old look. That surface that most people think is worthless is actually evidence of survival. Original toning and untouched surfaces are exactly what collectors crave. This coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, not steel like most 1943 pennies. It weighs 3.11 grams, diameter 19 millimeters, thickness 1.5 millimeters, small, light, easy to overlook. But its story is enormous. That copper composition, combined with heavy circulation, means very few survived in any condition, let alone in recognizable detail. That makes this coin exceptionally rare and valuable. Condition matters here. Fine condition means Lincoln's hair and facial features are still visible. The lettering is clear. The wheat stalks on the reverse retain definition. The rim is intact. And even with dirt and wear, original surfaces untouched by cleaning are more valuable than any artificially polished coin. That dirty layer? It's not a flaw. It's proof that this coin survived when millions of others disappeared, corroded, or were destroyed. That survival is the key to its fortune. Collectors inspect the tiniest details. They examine the date, the strike, the spacing of letters, the texture of the surface. They check for early circulation marks versus damage. They can tell in seconds whether a dirty coin is a survivor or just abused metal. And the truth is, copper 1943 wheat pennies without mint marks are extremely rare. Nearly every other penny that year is steel. That contrast alone makes them dangerously desirable. Auction behavior is intense for coins like this. When a true 1943 copper wheat penny appears, even with a dirty, circulated look, collectors recognize the rarity. They bid aggressively. Many surviving examples are already locked into long-term collections. Owners hold them. They do not sell. Supply tightens. Demand climbs. And that is why this coin, even in dirty condition, commands $135,000 today. That's silent fortune most people are giving away without even realizing it. Do not spend this coin. Never clean it. Do not try to restore it. The dirt and patina prove authenticity. Original toning is everything. Handle it carefully. Store it safely in a protective holder. Avoid moisture. And if you believe you've found a genuine example in fine condition, consider professional grading. Authentication will ensure you capture its full hidden value. And here's the final truth. Across this video, we've uncovered 10 wheat pennies, each more shocking than the last, each carrying serious money hidden in plain sight. From the 1920 survivor hiding $180,000 to the wartime copper 1943 penny quietly holding $135,000, these coins are life-changing treasures people are spending every day. This isn't a list of interesting old pennies. This is a map to hidden wealth, a warning, and an opportunity all at once. So here's my challenge to you. Check your jars, check your drawers, check your loose change. Look at every penny carefully. That quiet, overlooked coin in your pocket might just be your life-changing opportunity. The treasure isn't buried. It's circulating around you. But only if you know what to look for, and only if you resist the urge to spend it blindly. Stay alert. Stay patient. And never underestimate the hidden fortune hiding in plain sight. Rare coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a hunt for silent wealth, a chance to uncover serious money hiding in everyday life. And now that you know, the choice is yours. spend it, or discover your fortune. This is Rare Coin News USA. And remember, the next coin you think is worthless could be the one that changes everything.